In the heart of America, where the mountains kiss the sky and small towns whisper tales of forgotten heroes, one quiet night was about to explode into chaos. In Pinewood Hollow, Montana, a blind music teacher and her loyal guide dog stood as the last line of defense against a storm of leather and steel, a storm that didn't know it was riding straight into a legend. This isn't just a story of survival, it's a tale of a warrior unleashed, a town reborn, and a dog who'd seen hell and brought heaven back with him. Buckle up, America, this ride's about to get wild. The sleepy town of Pinewood Hollow nestled in the shadow of Montana's rugged peaks, a place where folks tipped their hats to strangers and the air carried the scent of pine and fresh-baked bread. On the surface, it was a postcard of small-town America, peaceful, predictable, safe. But beneath that calm facade, something extraordinary was waiting to ignite. Clara Hensley, a blind woman in her early 30s with a cascade of chestnut hair and a quiet strength, walked Main Street every morning with her German shepherd, Titan. To the townsfolk, Titan was just her guide dog, steady, gentle, always at her side as her fingers brushed his harness and her cane tapped a rhythm against the sidewalk. Clara taught piano at the Little Harmony Music Studio, her unseeing eyes alive with music. Her voice soft but sure as she guided kids through their scales. She was a local treasure, someone who turned tragedy into triumph after a car accident stole her sight 6 years back. And Titan? Well, he was her shadow, her rock, her eyes in a world gone dark. But Titan wasn't just any dog. Beneath that service vest beat the heart of a warrior, a retired military K-9 from a classified program called Silent Shield. He'd once sniffed out danger in the deserts of Iraq, saved soldiers from ambushes, and faced fire without flinching. 3 years ago, he'd been placed with Clara through a discreet veterans initiative. His combat days supposedly behind him. The townsfolk didn't know that. To them, he was just a good boy who liked the occasional treat from Millie's diner. But Titan remembered every lesson, every command, every instinct honed in war. And tonight, those instincts were about to roar back to life. It started with a rumble, a low growl of engines slicing through the stillness of Pinewood Hollow. The Iron Reapers Motorcycle Club rolled into town, their leather cuts emblazoned with skulls and chains, their bikes spitting exhaust like dragons on the prowl. Leading them was Vince "Razor" Malone, a hulking figure with a scarred face and eyes that gleamed with menace. Razor had a reputation across 3 states, violence was his currency, fear his kingdom. He'd targeted small towns before, turning them into his personal playgrounds with intimidation and brute force. Pinewood Hollow, with its quiet streets and trusting folks, looked like easy pickings. That morning, Clara and Titan passed Millie's diner as usual. Old Hank Grayson, sweeping the sidewalk, tipped his cap. "Mornin', Clara. Titan keepin' you out of trouble?" "Always does, Hank." She replied with a smile, her hand resting on Titan's harness. The dog's ears twitched at the sound of a distant rumble, but his stride stayed steady, guiding her toward the studio. Hank chuckled, oblivious to the storm brewing on the horizon. Across the street, Dr. Rachel Torres, the town vet, watched from her clinic window. She'd noticed the bikers cruising through town the past few days, new faces, hard stares, a tension that didn't fit Pinewood's rhythm. "Trouble's coming," she muttered, her fingers tightening around her coffee mug. She glanced at Clara and Titan, a flicker of unease in her gut. Something about Titan's alertness, the way he scanned the street, felt different. Inside Harmony Music Studio, Clara settled at her piano, her fingers dancing over the keys as 10-year-old Ellie Harper squeaked her sneakers across the hardwood. "Feel the rhythm, Ellie," Clara said, demonstrating a chord. "Let it flow." Titan lay beside her, his head resting near the bench, but his eyes never left the window. Outside, the rumble grew louder, 3 bikes roared past, their riders eyeballing the studio. Titan's ears tracked them, a soldier's vigilance buried beneath his calm exterior. At Millie's diner, Razor sat with his lieutenants, plotting over greasy plates of eggs and hash browns. His second-in-command, Jake "Hawk" Sullivan, stirred his coffee. "Quiet little dump. Reminds me of that town in Wyoming we rolled over last year." "Too quiet," Razor growled, drumming his scarred fingers on the table. "Time these folks learned who runs things around here." Their newest recruit, Danny "Ghost" Reed, a wiry kid with a military discharge haunting his past, shifted uncomfortably. He'd spotted Clara and Titan earlier, something about the dog's precision nagging at him. "That blind chick with the mutt, she's some kinda local hero," he ventured. Razor smirked. "A saint and her pooch? Perfect place to start." By afternoon, whispers spread through Pinewood Hollow. Sheriff Tom Baxter's boots creaked as he crossed Main Street, nodding to Clara as she locked up the studio. "Evenin', Clara. Titan good?" "Always, Sheriff," she replied, though her hand tightened on the harness. Titan's muscles tensed beneath her fingers, something was off. The air felt heavy. Charged, like the calm before a lightning strike. That night, the Iron Reapers made their first move. Razor and his crew cornered Clara outside Rachel's vet clinic, their bikes idling like predators circling prey. Well, Razor sneered, stepping closer. "The town's little angel and her lapdog." Titan stood still, but his eyes locked onto Razor, every muscle coiled. Clara's voice stayed steady. "He's not confused about where you are. He knows exactly who's standing there." Razor laughed, a harsh sound that grated against the quiet. "Friendly mutt, huh? Shame if something happened to him." He reached for Titan's vest, testing the waters. What happened next was a blur of instinct and training. Titan moved like a shadow, pivoting to shield Clara with a precision that screamed military. Razor stumbled back, caught off guard, as Titan's stance shifted, calm guide dog gone, warrior unleashed. "What the hell?" Hawk muttered, hand twitching toward his knife. "He's not nervous unless he needs to be," Clara said, her voice cutting through the tension. Titan's gaze held them all, a silent warning. Sheriff Baxter's patrol car rolled by, slowing as he clocked the bikes. "Everything all right here?" he called. Hand near his holster. Razor backed off, smirking. "Just sayin' hi, Sheriff. We'll be seein' more of you, sweetheart," he added to Clara, his threat hanging in the air. As the bikers peeled out, Ghost lingered, staring at Titan. He'd seen that stance before, K-9 units in basic training, dogs built for war. His gut twisted. What had Razor just stepped into? Back at the diner, Razor lit a cigarette, his mind racing. "Something's off about that dog," he growled. "Find out everything, where it came from, what it is." Ghost stayed quiet, pieces clicking into place. Pinewood Hollow wasn't just another small town. And that dog? It was no ordinary guide. As dusk fell, Clara whispered to Titan, "We knew this peace couldn't last, huh?" The dog pressed against her leg. His warmth a promise. In the hills beyond town, engines rumbled louder, a storm gathering strength. Pinewood Hollow was about to learn what Titan was made of, and so were the Iron Reapers. Picture this, America, a sleepy Montana town under siege, its streets trembling with the roar of outlaw bikes. A blind woman and her guide dog stand alone against a tide of chaos, except that dog's no ordinary companion. He's a ghost from the battlefield, a four-legged legend about to turn Pinewood Hollow into a war zone. The Iron Reapers thought they'd break this town with fear, but they didn't count on waking a sleeping giant. This is the night the masks come off, the claws come out, and a hero proves why some dogs are born to fight. Night draped Pinewood Hollow in shadows as Clara locked the Harmony Music Studio. Titan guiding her down the steps with his usual precision. The air buzzed with unease. Motorcycles had circled town all day, their engines a constant threat. Mrs. Lillian Carter, her last student of the evening, hesitated by her car. "Clara, honey, maybe we should switch to daytime lessons. These nights feel heavy." Clara nodded, her hand on Titan's harness. "Get home safe, Lillian." The older woman drove off as the rumble grew louder, headlights slicing through the dark. Across the street, Razor emerged from the shadows with Hawk and a third biker. "Frankie Blaze Torres." "Evenin', Teach," Razor called, his voice dripping with mockery. "Thought we'd walk you home." Titan's posture shifted, subtle, but lethal. Clara's grip tightened. "We're fine on our own." Razor smirked, circling closer. "Been diggin' into your mutt. Funny thing, those service dog records? Blank. Almost like someone's hidin' something." "He's just my guide," Clara said evenly, but Titan's stance told a different story. Coiled, ready, a soldier sizing up the enemy. At the vet clinic, Rachel Torres watched through the blinds. Phone in hand. She dialed Sheriff Baxter. "Tom, get to the studio now. They're cornering Clara." Outside, Razor lunged, grabbing for Titan's vest. "Let's see what's under this fancy getup." Titan exploded into action. With a fluid pivot, he blocked Razor, sending the biker staggering back. It wasn't a service dog move, it was pure combat, a perfect takedown from a K9 playbook. Blaze swore, stepping back. "That ain't normal." Razor regained his footing, facing Titan's unyielding stare. The dog's eyes burned with a warrior's focus, no trace of the gentle guide left. Headlights flooded the street as Sheriff Baxter's cruiser screeched up, followed by Clara's dad, Jack Hensley, a retired cop with a linebacker's build. "Clara!" Jack shouted, sprinting toward her. "This ain't over," Razor snarled, retreating with his crew as the sheriff's lights flashed. Ghost melted into the shadows, his mind racing. He'd seen that move, K9 units in Iraq. Trained to protect without killing. This was no coincidence. Inside the studio, Jack hugged Clara tight. "You okay, kiddo?" "I'm fine, Dad." "Titan, he handled it." Sheriff Baxter shone his flashlight on Titan, who'd slipped back into guide mode, calm as ever. "Jack," he said quietly, "we need to talk about that dog." A new voice cut in, Sam Carter, a grizzled army vet who'd been watching from Millie's. "That wasn't service training. That was tactical K9, combat grade." Rachel joined them, holding Titan's vet file. "His microchip, it's military grade. I scanned it after the festival last week." Clara's hand trembled as she stroked Titan's fur. "What are you saying?" Sam knelt beside the dog. "I'm saying your guide just pulled a move straight out of a war zone. That's years of training, elite stuff." Jack pulled out his phone, showing a redacted document he'd dug up. "Found this in an old contacts files. Transfer record from the Department of Defense. Titan's no ordinary K9, he's Silent Shield." Across town at the Rusty Spur Bar, Razor slammed his fist on the table. "A military dog," he roared. Hawk spread out a laptop, hacking into restricted files. "Boss, that chip, it's tied to a classified database. Special Ops K9S." Ghost stayed silent, memories of desert patrols flooding back. He'd seen dogs like Titan, ghost operators, they called them. Razor didn't know what he'd unleashed. The next morning, Pinewood Hollow's town hall buzzed with worried citizens. Sheriff Baxter took the podium. "Last night wasn't random. The Iron Reapers want control, and they're targeting Clara and Titan." Jack stood, his voice steady. "This isn't just about territory. They're after my daughter because she stood up to them. Sam stepped forward, holding a grainy photo of a K-9 unit. Titans from Silent Shield, an elite program. These dogs weren't just soldiers, they were guardians, trained to blend in until needed. Rachel added, his exams show combat scars. Muscle conditioning beyond any service dog. He's seen war. Clara's voice broke the silence. All this time, he's been more than my guide. He's a damn hero, Sam said. Repurposed to protect places like this. At the Rusty Spur, Razor raged. A war dog? We'll crush it, and this town with it. Hawk grinned. Tonight, boss. We hit hard. Ghost watched the town hall crowd from a distance. Torn between loyalty and a nagging truth. Titan wasn't just a dog, he was a weapon. And Pinewood Hollow was about to become ground zero. By dusk, the town braced for war. Clara worked late at the studio. Titan at her feet, his ears tracking every sound. Across town, Razor rallied his crew. Cut the power. Torch the place. Show 'em who's boss. Rachel locked her clinic as bikes circled closer. She called Jack. They're moving, too many of them. Sam's voice crackled over a radio. They're hitting the studio. Move. The lights flickered out, plunging Main Street into darkness. Engines roared as Razor's crew smashed the studio windows. Time for a lesson, teach, he bellowed. Titan leapt up, guiding Clara behind the piano. Rachel, get back, she shouted as the vet burst in. Razor stepped inside, grinning. One dog against us? Cute. Clara's voice rang out. Titan, defensive pattern. The dog surged forward, a blur of muscle and precision. He disarmed Hawk with a single move. Sent Blaze crashing into a wall, and faced Razor with a snarl that froze the biker's blood. It was chaos, controlled, lethal chaos. Sam's truck roared up, veterans piling out with Baxter's deputies. Stand down, the sheriff yelled. Razor backed against the wall, Titan's teeth inches from his throat. What the hell is this thing? He's Silent Shield, Ghost said, stepping into the light. And you just lost. As deputies cuffed the bikers, Sam knelt beside Titan. Elite doesn't cover it. This dog's a damn legend. Clara hugged Titan tight, her voice soft. You've been protecting me all along. Haven't you? The dog pressed against her, his mission clear. Pinewood Hollow had seen Titan's claws, but the real storm was still brewing. Word count, 3,200. Listen up, America, this ain't your average Saturday night showdown. In Pinewood Hollow, the stakes just hit the roof. A blind woman's guide dog turned warrior has the Iron Reapers reeling, but they're calling in the big guns, every outlaw biker from here to the state line. This town's about to become a battlefield, and at its heart stands Titan, a four-legged force of nature with a past forged in fire. The thunder's rolling in, the fight's heating up. And one dog's about to show a whole nation what it means to stand tall. This is war, and it's personal. Dawn broke over Pinewood Hollow, the sky streaked with gray as the town licked its wounds. Clara sat in the community center, Titan at her side, his ears alert despite the night's chaos. The studio's broken windows glinted in the morning light, a reminder of the Iron Reaper's fury. Sheriff Baxter debriefed state troopers. Razor's locked up, but his crew's scattering, calling in reinforcements. Clara's fingers traced Titan's fur, finding scars she'd never noticed. They'll come back, won't they? Titan pressed against her, his answer silent but sure. At the county jail, Razor paced his cell, barking orders into a smuggled phone. Get everyone, every chapter. This ain't about territory no more. It's about that damn dog. Outside, Frankie, Blaze, Torres took charge, rallying bikers at an old quarry. Razor says we burn Pinewood to the ground. Start with the mutt. Sam Carter worked with Clara at the center, teaching her Titans combat commands. Silent shield dogs respond to triggers, verbal, physical. He's been waiting for you to speak his language. Clara nodded, her hands steady. Titan, defensive stance. The dog shifted instantly, a soldier's poise beneath the vest. Rachel watched, amazed. His conditioning, it's unreal. Combat ready, yet gentle as ever. Jack Hensley hammered boards over broken windows. Why here? Why us? Maybe that's the point, Baxter mused. Small town, quiet cover, perfect place to hide a weapon like Titan. By afternoon, the rumble returned, louder, angrier. Ghost burst into the center with maps. Blaze has 3 gangs rolling in: Iron Legion, Black Vipers, Night Prowlers. 60 bikes. Minimum. They're treating this like a war. Sam studied the maps. Pincer move. Split our defenses, hit hard. Clara felt Titan tense. He knows they're coming. He's been mapping this town for years. Sam said. Every street, every alley, he's ready. Dusk fell, and the first strike hit. Explosions rocked the power station, plunging Pinewood into darkness. Engines roared as Blaze led the charge down Main Street. Take the dog, he shouted. Clara stood in the center, Titan at her side. Full deployment, civilian defense, she commanded. Titan erupted into action, guiding her through chaos while countering threats. He disarmed a Viper with a precise strike, sent a Prowler sprawling, and held the line as veterans and deputies rallied. Fall back, a biker yelled. That dog's insane. Ghost monitored their chatter. They're breaking, they didn't expect this. Lightning split the sky as Blaze made his final push, bikes roaring through the rain. End it now, he bellowed. Clara's voice cut through the storm. Titan, prime directive. The dog became a force of nature, coordinating defenders, protecting civilians, dismantling the attack with surgical precision. Blaze charged, but Titan anticipated every move. Pinning him in the mud. They can't stop him, Sam breathed. He's Silent Shield's best. As dawn broke, Pinewood stood battered but unbroken. Blaze was cuffed, his alliance shattered. Clara knelt beside Titan. You're my hero, always. The town rebuilt, stronger, united, taught by a dog who'd turned a guide's loyalty into a warrior's legacy. In the hills. Whispers spread, Pinewood Hollow was untouchable, guarded by a legend in a service vest. Lessons of humanity from the story of Pinewood Hollow. Strength lies in the unseen. Titan looked like just a guide dog. A quiet companion for Clara, but beneath that service vest was a warrior who'd faced hell and come out stronger. It's a reminder for all of us, sometimes the greatest power isn't loud or obvious. It's in the people or pups who don't flaunt their strength until it's needed. Look around your own life, who's the unsung hero waiting to shine? Courage isn't about size, it's about heart. Pinewood Hollow wasn't a big city with an army at its gates. It was a small town, and its biggest defender had 4 legs and a wagging tail. Titan didn't back down from a fight against dozens of bikers. Proving that real courage comes from standing up for what's right, no matter the odds. You don't need to be the biggest guy in the room to make a difference, just the bravest. Community is power. When the Iron Reapers rolled in, Pinewood could have crumbled. But Clara and Titan didn't fight alone. Sheriff Baxter, Jack, Rachel, Sam, even Ghost, they all stepped up. Titan showed them how to stand together, turning a scattered town into a united front. It's a lesson straight from the American spirit: when we've got each other's backs, no bully can break us. True heroes protect, not destroy. Titan could have torn those bikers apart, he had the training for it. But he didn't. Every move was precise, controlled, about keeping Clara and the town safe without crossing into chaos. That's what separates a hero from a thug. Heroes build up, they don't tear down. It's a call to all of us to use our strength for good, not just to win. Purpose can wear many faces. Titan was a soldier turned guide dog turned town guardian. He didn't let his past define him, he adapted, finding new ways to serve. For Americans chasing the dream, it's a powerful truth: life might change your role, but it doesn't change your worth. Whether you're leading the charge or lending a hand, purpose is what you make of it. Fear loses when hope stands tall. The bikers tried to drown Pinewood in fear, violence, threats, darkness. But Titan didn't just fight back, he inspired. Every time he guided Clara through the chaos, he showed the town they didn't have to bow to intimidation. Hope isn't some soft, fluffy thing, it's a steel backbone, and it's what keeps us going when the night gets darkest. Loyalty is a two-way street. Clara trusted Titan with her life, and he repaid that trust 1,000 times over. Their bond wasn't just about her needing him, it was about him needing her, too. In a world where loyalty can feel rare, this story hits home: when you stand by someone, they'll stand by you. It's the kind of connection that turns strangers into family. Redemption is always possible. Ghost started as one of the bad guys, a biker with a troubled past. But when he saw Titan's truth, he switched sides, risking everything to help Pinewood. It's a gritty, American redemption arc, proof that no matter where you've been, you can still choose to do right. One decision can rewrite your story. Final takeaway for America. This tale of Pinewood Hollow isn't just about a dog or a town, it's about us. It's about the quiet strength in our neighborhoods, the grit in our bones, and the hope we carry even when the odds stack high. Titan taught Clara, and Clara taught Pinewood, that we're tougher than we think. So next time life throws a razor Malone your way, channel your inner Titan, stand tall, stand together, and show them what America's made of. Buckle up, America, this isn't your average small-town tale. In the heart of Pinewood Hollow, Montana, a blind music teacher named Clara Hensley and her guide dog Titan face off against the ruthless Iron Reapers Motorcycle Club. What starts as a quiet life with piano lessons turns into an all-out war when the bikers mess with the wrong duo. Spoiler: Titan's no ordinary pup, he's a retired military K-9 from the top-secret Silent Shield program, trained in Iraq and ready to protect his town at all costs. Watch as Titan transforms from a gentle guide into a four-legged warrior, taking down outlaws with jaw-dropping precision while showing Pinewood what real strength looks like. From darkened streets to thundering battles, this story's got it all: courage, loyalty, and a community that learns to stand tall against fear. Will Clara and Titan save Pinewood from the biker storm? Hit play and find out what you'll see. A blind woman and her dog versus a biker gang. Talk about underdog heroes. Titan's secret past revealed: combat scars, military moves, and a heart of gold. Pinewood Hollow's epic transformation from quiet town to unbreakable spirit. Explosive showdowns, heartfelt moments, and lessons that hit home. Lessons for America. True power hides in the quiet ones. Don't judge a book or a dog by its cover. Courage isn't loud, it's standing up when it counts. Together, we're unstoppable. Community beats chaos every time. Heroes protect, inspire, and sometimes wear a service vest. Subscribe now. Love stories of grit, guts, and good dogs? Smash that subscribe button and join us for more epic tales. Next up, 2 incredible stories waiting to blow your mind. Click to watch after this one. Your support keeps these legends alive, Let's roll, America.